So good afternoon, everyone. I understand it has been a long and interesting conference, and I want to start by thanking the Belgrade Security Conference for inviting me tonight, but also to congratulate them for the excellent program and being able to gather here in Belgrade so many bright minds across Serbia, the Balkans, Europe, and beyond. Congratulations, and I'm looking forward to the results of next conference. I'm sure that you'll reach even higher heights. My job is usually to talk about EU enlargement. This is what I've been doing in Serbia in the last 3 years, and I want to confirm the rule. I will try to tell you a little bit where we are on enlargement, as there will be a panel later on looking into a specific aspect of enlargement, which is the growth plan. I want to talk about that as well. I want to start from perhaps the beginning. Enlargement, as we know, has been a reality in the Western Balkans for many years, with negotiations that have been ongoing for 10 years. And I know that when I arrived, I felt it very much in 2021, a lack of enthusiasm for the process, a sense that this process was too long, too slow, not enough progress, not enough reforms, not enough results. And certainly this has dramatically changed in our professional lives, but I think in our daily life. The reason why things have changed is, of course, that Russia, more than 1,000 days ago, invaded in an unprovoked and unjustified act of aggression Ukraine. And this changed, as we all know, and I'm sure you discuss it during this conference, everything. And among the things that have changed is also the way the European Union is looking at enlargement for the Western Balkans, and also, of course, for the new candidate country, Ukraine, Moldova, and hopefully one day Georgia. The priority that is now given to enlargement is incomparable higher than a few years ago. There is a sense that enlargement is a geostrategic imperative for the European Union. And I would say that it's not even to enlarge the European Union, but to complete the European Union. These are the words used by President von der Leyen during the State of the Union speech 2 years ago, last year, in front of the European Parliament. The European Union will not be complete without the Western Balkans. We will soon have a commissioner fully devoted to enlargement, hopefully by the 1st of December, if the hearings in the Parliament, the European Parliament, are successful. The new team will start, and there will be a new commissioner that will only be devoted to enlargement, and this is the first time in 10 years that we have a commissioner that does only that. And in the mission letter that the President has written to every designate commissioner, there is always a sentence on enlargement. This is not a bureaucratic decision. It's just one of the political translations that we are in a completely different political moment now with enlargement. There is a clear window of opportunity for the Western Balkans to progress and achieve membership in the European Union. And I would argue that this is an opportunity that cannot be missed, that should not be missed, and must not be missed. It's in the interest of the citizens of Serbia, the citizens of the Western Balkans, to integrate the European Union. And it's also in the interest of the European Union to become larger, but also stronger. And to be stronger, we need to ensure that the member state that will join the EU will also be able to bring added value to our work. The geopolitical environment in which we operate is a very complicated one, very difficult one. There are very sensitive security issues, and certainly the Russian aggression against Ukraine is creating a huge security problem for the European Union and its member states. We also have the war in the Middle East, and we need to become more resilient as a European Union in security terms. Also economically, we have the need to strengthen our competitiveness. We need to be able to succeed in the green transitions to phase away hydrocarbons in our economy. And for this, of course, we will need value chain that are functioning, that can have access to critical raw material in order to be able to power the new economy. And we need to have a more integrated economic system and to deepen the single market. We've received 2 reports recently from Professor Letta and Professor Draghi about competitiveness and deepening the single market. These are part of the challenges that we are facing now today. But in addition to the economic aspect and the security aspect, we believe that joining the European Union is also to embrace a set of values that define our genetic DNA. Freedom of expression, freedom of the media, democratic institutions, and of course the rule of law. And these values define the European Union compared to other realities that you have out there, and therefore it's a choice of society that one makes. It's about certainly a standard of living, better economic opportunities, better possibility for reaching your objectives, and also an embracement of common values that define us. Serbia has been traditionally living at the borders, the frontiers between different realities in its modern history, the frontier between the Ottoman and Austro-Hungarian empires, the frontier between the East and the West, and I believe also the frontier between the North and the South to some extent. And now I'm sure that the future of Serbia lies clearly within the common European family. It lies among countries that share a common history and aim at forging a common destiny. This vision of shared prosperity and stability is a vision that is unique. What the European Union is offering to the Western Balkans and Serbia is unique, and we need to be able to seize the opportunity that is in front of us, that we're living through at the moment. And I have to say that yesterday night, the remarks of President Vučić indicating that Serbia should be meeting all criteria for membership by the end of 2026, introducing all the legislation of the European Union in the Serbian legislation, the legal framework, the EU acquis, aligning policies, is certainly an ambitious objective, but I think is also an indication there's a sense of awareness that this is the time to intensify reforms, this is the time to accelerate progress toward the European Union, and the whole government and all society need to gear up in order to achieve this goal. And Serbia, like the rest of the Western Balkans, will not be alone. The European Union will help in accelerating this path. And in fact, during this year, 2024, we have seen incredible results already. We have seen Bosnia-Herzegovina been opening negotiations, ready for opening negotiation. We opened negotiation with Ukraine and Moldova. Montenegro has met the interim benchmarks of Chapter 23 and 24, is now ready to close chapters. And a few weeks ago, we opened the first cluster with Albania. So I think it's difficult to remember a year so rich in delivering progress on enlargement as 2024. And of course, this year is not over yet. We still have a month and a few days. And we have a number of opportunities ahead of us, and we might see even more progress in the coming days. Also, this is the year where the growth plan for the Western Balkans has been turned from an idea into a reality. The growth plan was announced a year ago by President von der Leyen, sketching out a new tool in order to boost progress in enlargement. And very, very quickly, we have turned this idea into a reality. In April, we agreed on a legal basis just before the European Parliament was dissolved. And the Council, the Budgetary Authority, provided 6 additional billion euros to the European Union for the Western Balkans, 2 in grants and 4 in concessional loans. And then we asked the partner in the Western Balkans to develop a reform agenda, to identify key reforms with a set of dates by which these reforms need to be implemented. And now, in the end of November, we have received by 5 of the 6 a reform agenda, and certainly I want to congratulate all the countries that have managed to produce this document, including Serbia. It's an ambitious agenda, which will have to be implemented by, at the latest, by 2027. And it's an agenda that will help both to boost the economy and to work on fundamental reforms. The economy of the Western Balkans are still lagging behind compared to the European Union economy. In fact, even for one of the perhaps the most successful economy of the Western Balkans, Serbia, that has been able to show resilience in face of the COVID crisis and the energy crisis and maintain very high GDP growth rates, and also to maintain macrofinancial stability and attract increasingly large amounts of foreign direct investment. The GDP per capita is 46% of the average GDP per capita within the European Union. The gap is still very important, and we need to have a higher growth, and we need to remove the obstacles and the bottleneck in the economy here. And secondly, this reform agenda aim at addressing some of the key fundamental issues that are necessary in order for Serbia to progress and the other countries of the region, namely the functioning of democratic institutions and the rule of law. The growth plan is an offer to address the key issues that we have been struggling with, to allow the Western Balkans to benefit from the advantages of membership, even before membership, and also to receive more funds. The first pillar of the growth plan is precisely to integrate the Western Balkans progressively into the single market even before accession. We know that probably the moment where the EU was the most popular in Serbia was when visa liberalization was introduced. And citizens felt directly how easy it was to go and to travel, take a train, take a plane, or a car, and cross the border without needing to go through long procedures to get a visa. And likewise, the idea is to have, in very concrete terms, the possibility for citizens to feel the benefit of integration, like with integration into the single payment area, which will allow to make bank transfer between Serbia and any EU country as if they were conducted within Serbia. This is a change that European citizens have felt. Moving money from Vienna to Tallinn cost almost nothing, and is done very quickly. And I think of all the companies here in Serbia that are actually trading, importing, exporting with the EU and need to move money, and they will see this very easy. But also I think of all the citizens that have families that are living in the European Union that transfer remittances to Serbia, and every time they need to find a way to get this money or need to pay a fees, and this will no longer be necessary. But also the green lane. We see the long queue of trucks at the border with Hungary or Croatia, for example, and this has cost a lot of money to the company. So to reduce these queues will bring concrete benefits to business here. Or the digital wallet that will allow either to open a bank account or to register to enroll into a university as if you are a European. These are very concrete things, not to speak, of course, of reducing the roaming cost, which we have started doing, so that when you go for business of pleasures in the European Union, you don't have to pay the roaming cost. So really concrete aspect that should be felt by the citizens in the Western Balkans to re-energize the process, because this is what we need to do. We need to show that this is possible, it's moving, and it's creating benefit. Secondly, we need to better integrate the region, which is far too fragmented at the moment. So the integration into the single market should go hand in hand with the economic integrations of the Western Balkans. And then, as I said, the reforms that are not an alternative to the reforms that will have to be conducted in order to reach membership. They are part of the membership process, but they will also allow Serbia to speed up its economic growth, to eliminate bottlenecks. So we have whole chapters on business environment with reforms related to the green agenda, to the digital reform, and to state aid and procurement. And then we have, of course, the need to improve the human resources, human capital. One of the issues that the economy is facing is that not always you have the necessary skills in order to match the needs of the economy. Better education, better training, creating the right framework to make sure that particularly younger people have the possibility to train and be educated here in Serbia and then to find jobs. And then, of course, last but not least, the fundamentals, which will remain the key factor, one of the two key factors that will mark the pace of enlargement of Serbia towards the European Union, as for all the other candidate countries. Election reforms, media reforms, rule of law reforms, these are the issues that are indicated in the reform agenda. This will be accompanied by this new injection of funds according to a system that has been tested with member states in the post-COVID crisis, when member states had to draft their own reform agenda, also focusing on similar issues, particularly on the green and digital transition, submit them to the European Commission for approval, and then implement it. And the funds of the Recovery and Resilience Facility, which was created post-COVID, are actually delivered in tranches only when the specific reforms by EU member states are conducted. And it is working. It has really spurred reforms in member states and helped them to relaunch the economy in the post-COVID crisis. So in the same way, the EU funds for the growth facility and the loans for the facility will be disbursed only once the reforms have been completed. It's a total change of approach compared to the IPA funding, which when IPA was provided in order to boost the capacity of the candidate country in order to reach the necessary capacity to move there. So this is what the growth plan is. The growth plan is not an alternative to membership. It's there to create a more dynamic mechanism in order to accelerate reforms. And certainly we hope that this will lead to the intensification of reforms that we really need. I think the only slogan that we can have now is reform, 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 communicating proactively the benefit of the European Union, explaining to citizens why reforms are done, certainly in the interest of the Serbian citizens and the citizens of the Western Balkans, as they are for Ukraine and Moldova. This is a unique moment, a unique opportunity, and certainly an opportunity that cannot be missed. Thank you very much.